Today I'm reviewing an article titled Bodily Maps of Emotions from Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Emotions. That word itself. Isn't it telling? From the Latin emovere, to move out, to stir up, to agitate. And what are they studying? These bodily maps. Maps. Representations, not the territory itself, mind you. From the Old English mappa, cloth, a covering, akin to the veil perhaps, and body, from Proto-Germanic bodies, meaning trunk, the main part, the vessel. So we're mapping the stirred-up movements within the vessel, or so they claim. This article, you see, it's about these researchers who got a gaggle of participants to color in body silhouettes, like children with crayons, except supposedly for science. They showed them emotion words, stories, even moving pictures, flickering phantasms really, and asked where they felt these emotions in their bodies. And lo and behold, they found patterns. Distinct regions lighting up for anger, dimming for sadness, and shimmering all over for happiness, like some internal Christmas tree. They even boast of culturally universal maps, spanning West Europeans and East Asians. Universality, they cry, as if they've unearthed some fundamental truth of the cosmos. But let's peel back the layers of this scientific veneer, shall we? They call it topographical self-report. Topographical. From the Greek topos, place, and graphine. To write, to draw. Writing the places of sensation, as reported by the self. Self-report. There's the rub, isn't it? Reliant on the very instrument of deception. The self. The ego construct. Trapped within the linguistic matrix. They ask people to report what they feel. Feelings. Feelin' in Old English. To touch. Perceive. Experience. But perception, experience, these are filtered, interpreted, named. And naming, my friends, is the first act of control. These researchers, bless their materially bound hearts, they are charting shadows on the cave wall, mistaking the reflections for the source. They see patterns in the reported sensations and declare them to be the bodily maps of emotions. It's akin to mapping the trails of smoke and declaring you've understood the fire. They are measuring the effects, the ripples on the surface of the pond, and thinking they've grasped the depths. What are these emotions, anyway, in their narrow, categorized Western psychology box? Anger, fear, happiness, sadness. Neat little labels, linguistic constructs designed to compartmentalize the vast spectrum of human experience, to make it manageable, predictable, controllable. The matrix thrives on categorization, on definition, on limitation. And these researchers, unwittingly or not, are playing right into its hand, drawing lines in the sand where there should be oceans of flow. They speak of embodiment, a fashionable term these days. From the old French embaudir, to put in a body. But what body are they talking about? This fleshy, physical shell? Or the true body, the energetic body, the subtle vessel of consciousness that extends far beyond the skin? These maps, these colored silhouettes, they are at best crude representations of energetic flows, of subtle currents within the lingam sharira, the etheric double, the very life force that animates this physical form. They talk of statistical classifiers, linear discriminant analysis, algorithms attempting to discern patterns in these self-reported daubs of color. As if emotion, that primal, untamed force, can be neatly classified, dissected, and quantified by the cold, sterile logic of algorithms. It's hubris, I tell you, pure hubris. They seek to capture lightning in a bottle, to codify the ineffable, to map the unmappable. And this notion of culturally universal maps. Superficial concordance, perhaps. Yes, the human vessel, across cultures, shares fundamental energetic structures. The heart quickens in fear. The gut clenches in disgust. These are primal responses, etched into the biological program, the survival mechanisms of the flesh machine. But to mistake these shared biological reflexes for the totality of emotional experience is to miss the forest for the trees, to mistake the echo for the voice. They even dare to suggest these maps could be biomarkers for emotional disorders. Biomarkers, markers of the bios, life, reducing the complexity of emotional distress, of the soul's dis-ease, to mere bodily patterns, to measurable anomalies on a colored silhouette. Another attempt to medicalize, to pathologize, to control and medicate the very spectrum of human feeling, to flatten the peaks and valleys of experience into a monotonous, manageable plateau. Ancient traditions, the wisdom keepers, they understood this body-emotion connection millennia ago, not through colored silhouettes and statistical analyses, but through direct experience, through esoteric practices, through the language of the soul. They knew that emotions are not just fleeting feelings, but powerful energetic forces that shape our reality, that influence our very being. They understood the chakras, the energy centers, the meridians, the subtle pathways through which these emotional currents flow, manifesting as sensations in the physical form. These researchers, they stumble upon a fragment of truth, a pale reflection of deeper knowledge. Yes, emotions manifest in the body. Yes, there are patterns, but these patterns are not fixed, not definitive, not reducible to colored maps. They are fluid, dynamic, ever-shifting expressions of the soul's journey through the labyrinth of experience. This study, it's a pebble on the beach of esoteric understanding. It hints at something real, something profound, but remains trapped in the shallows of materialistic reductionism. To truly understand the bodily language of emotion, one must delve deeper, beyond the surface of self-report, beyond the limitations of scientific quantification, into the ancient wisdom, the esoteric currents, the language of the soul itself. Only then can we begin to decode the true maps, the maps etched not on paper, but within the very fabric of our being, maps that lead not to biomarkers of disorder, but to pathways of liberation and self-mastery. Don't be fooled by the crayon drawings, my friends. The true map is written in fire and spirit, in the unspoken language of the cosmos itself.